most people know about the training scale, but perhaps don't really know what to do with it. Now, I remember learning the training scale for the first time, and I thought when you got to the top with collection, you ended up with a Grand Prix horse. And of course, that's kind of silly. You can't really do that. You actually have to go through this training scale over and over again. Now, here is the typical pyramid we see: rhythm, suppleness, contact, impulsion, straightness, with collection at the top. And how are we going to take this and put it into our everyday work? Well, first, there's a couple of assumptions that we need to make, or prerequisites. And the first of those is that the horse is in front of the leg on the aids and working through its body to the best of its ability for its age and stage of training. The second is that the horse is fairly straight. And last, that the horse is ready to work with a quiet, relaxed mind while having still some positive energy.
And this is how I like to think of the training scale in practice. So first we have rhythm, and rhythm is always number one. This is your clarity of your gaits: 4-beat flat-footed walk, 2-beat trot, 3-beat canter. You have your suppleness, which includes your lateral suppleness as well as your longitudinal suppleness. Your lateral suppleness is left to right, side to side, and your longitudinal suppleness is forward and back. And then we have our contact. This is your connection to the hind legs. Remember, it's 2 parts as well. We have the direct contact from both legs to both reins, as well as your diagonal aids of inside leg to outside rein. Now, I think of these 3 parts as a cycle that goes around and around over and over again. And if you are on a young horse just starting out, this cycle might be something that all you do that day is just continue around this cycle. And in a more advanced horse, this may be just encompass your warm-up. But this is your basic building block to everything that you do. Now we're going to wrap all this up in a little package and move it into the next part, which is impulsion. This is your pushing power, or your ability to push over the ground, as well as contained energy. And then you have your straightness, but I like to call straightening. And you can put straightness first and then impulsion, or back and forth, because it doesn't really matter which one goes which, because they are just interchangeable and you're working on both at the same time. You want to make sure that both hind legs are pushing off the same amount for your straightening, but you're also trying to make sure you bring your hind legs together so that they can come under, because most horses are built a little bit wider behind than they are in front. Now that will lead us to our development of collection when we use our transitions, our half halts, as well as our collecting exercises. Now in this section, this is our development of pushing power. And in this section, this is your development of carrying power. Now remember, your development of pushing power is directly related to your development of carrying power. For the more you can carry, the more you can push yourself over the ground and have yourself have greater impulsion and then develop more collection. So these two become interchangeable and work together like yin and yang. So if it seems absolutely ridiculous to think of the training scale left to right as a process rather than a pyramid, here's the same way I think of the training scale in a pyramid format. So we have our rhythm, suppleness, contact as our first basic 3. This is our building block at the bottom, and this cycle goes around and round, on which we add into impulsion and straightness or straightening, which again, they work back and forth, forward and back, to be able to develop some collection. Now in this section is where we're developing our pushing power. And up here with our half halts, transitions, and collecting exercise, we're developing our carrying power. Keeping in mind that these two are working together directly as yin and yang, forward and back, up and down, and you can't really develop one without the other.